Welcome, one and all, to this brand new series, Conversations with a Fan, where I talk to you, the fans, about what you want to talk about. Today, for this inaugural episode, I'm joined by Seth Hannum, an avid Bills fan. Seth, why don't you tell us how long you've been a fan and why you continue to be a fan to this day?
All right. Well, thank you for having me. How long I've been a fan for? That's a good question. I would say, I don't know if I can give you an exact year. Kyle Orton's last year in the Bills, where they called him out of retirement off of his couch, and he led the Bills to, I think it was a 9-7 record, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they almost made the playoffs, but they lost to like the 1-15 Raiders and didn't make it. Oh. And I've continued to be a fan because I don't know. I think just because it's the home team and that's like the atmosphere and that's where I'm from. So it's a lot of Buffalo Bills culture everywhere. So it's just kind of rubbed off on me.
Yeah, that's what you love to hear about, the culture seeping into the veins, man. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So
for sure.
Let's get down to it. Just right to the meat and potatoes. In your mind, do you think that this Buffalo Bills team has what it takes to not only get to the Super Bowl, but compete and win for a title?
Can they make the Super? I mean, any given Sunday, right? Any given Sunday, any team can make it. Do I feel confident the Bills will go to the Super Bowl this year? I'm not sure. I haven't seen them play yet. But with the roster moves that we've made in the offseason, this is kind of a weird thing, but I would feel more confident if we were able to retain Corey Bojorquez, our punter, and Andre Roberts, our kick returner. Because Andre Roberts was a Pro Bowl kick returner last year, averaged the most yards. I could be wrong, averaged the most yards per return in the league. No touchdowns, but I mean, he would get you to the 30, 35 every time. Then Corey Bojorquez, he was inconsistent 2 years ago, but this year he really lit it up. And I mean, we were getting solid punts. And it's like, there's a difference between starting from the 20-yard line and the 35-yard line. And there's a difference between, putting the team on the 10 or putting them on the 20. And so like special teams was a little thing like that I felt really set the Bills over the edge, because just the field position advantage is huge. But I'm not sure, because we have a couple new guys that could be returning kicks. So maybe it works out. And I guess my only other hesitation would be, like I said, I'm just not sure how the team is going to play. The defense started off rocky last year, but I'd like to think so. I'd like to think we can, but I don't know if we have the star power yet to be able to compete with the Chiefs.
Okay, but in terms of star power, man, you got Allen, you got Diggs, you got Milano. I mean, he's starting to be a big name out there. I mean, what else do you need? I'm curious.
No. What else do you need? You look at the Bucs, and the way that they beat the Chiefs was with their line. And I was talking to a Bucs fan actually this morning, and it was just defensive line. And that is what wins you. That is what won them the game. So, if you think about it, they have Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, JPP, and the Bills have, we have Jerry, and everybody loves Jerry Hughes, but he puts up 4 sacks a year and has one crazy play a year, and everyone goes nuts for him. Mario Addison, who, had 5 sacks. Our leader in sacks was AJ Klein, a backup linebacker. I think we need more sacks. And Gregory Rousseau, his stats, our first round pick, his stats are amazing. 15.5 sacks in 2019. Can that translate? I don't know. I hope so. But I think if the D-line, if Ed Oliver reaches his potential, Harrison Phillips is healthy, Star Lotulelei is back. If our line, Vita Vea on the Bucs is who I was forgetting, but if the line can just come together and consistently put pressure, then I think that we can have a real shot. Because you go back to the Texans playoff game in 2019, maybe 2020 actually, and there was the one play where Deshaun Watson is in the backfield scrambling around, and if I remember correctly, Matt Milano missed the tackle.
Yeah. And
we had 3 guys there, and they missed the tackle, and it's like, man, if you just wrap up, we would have won that game. And so it's like kind of little things like that. If our line can just clean up their mistakes and just put pressure on the quarterback, then we will win.
So this kind of goes into well with what I was going to say next. I want to get to the draft class later. I know we had that slated next, but
Yeah.
you brought up Ed Oliver, and I'm really curious because last year he was supposed to be one of the big guys on that line, but his production was so inconsistent. What do you think Ed Oliver is going to be able to make that next step into stardom? I'm just curious.
I hope so, because his rookie year, I bought a signed Ed Oliver photo and I have it framed, and it cost me like $80 and it's in my room. So I really, for personal reasons, I need him to do well. I think that Ed Oliver can do well. Physically, he's a freak. His rookie year, his rookie year was weird because his stats, I think, were a little maybe like not amplified, like maybe overvalued than they were, because he had the one game against Dallas, he had like 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble. But then before that, he wasn't really doing much. And I think if you look at the advanced stats, he is putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But I would like to see him just get more sacks. That's why we brought him in. Yeah. I think he's great in the run. But I think a lot of the production problems this year was because he was playing a little bit of one tech when he's really a 3 tech.
Oh, yeah.
And because Starla Tulele was gone, and so he's our normal 1 tech. Yeah. And Ed Oliver was getting double, triple team. And that it goes back to what I said about the edge rushers, where we have Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison, and they're like 39, 80 million years old. And like nobody, like the team isn't preparing, and they're like they respect Jerry Hughes, but they're not double teaming Jerry Hughes. So like, I think if you get the edge can come together, that'll open up the game for everybody else. So we'll Ed Oliver, I guess to answer your question, do I think Ed Oliver will be good this year? I don't know. I hope so, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's not, and I hope he is, but we'll see, I guess.
I mean, that's all you can say at this point, to be down the middle, to just wait.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, that also goes into the other thing, the draft class. So first 2 picks, defensive ends, like you're saying, you guys needed help on the edges. You got Basham, you got Rousseau, and then after that, you draft 2 offensive linemen. What do you think this indicates to Bills fans, drafting these guys like Spencer Brown, Greg Rousseau, Basham? What do you think that says for Bills fans, and do you think those kind of moves will work out?
What do I think they mean for Bills fans? I think I'm not sure. At first I was a little puzzled because I was watching the draft and I really wanted JOK Jock from Notre Dame as a linebacker, and then he fell in the second, and I was like, oh, we're getting him, and then now we go another end. And so at first I was kind of like, okay, but the more I go back to that Bucs comparison, the more it makes sense to me. And Rousseau is athletically freaky. I mean, he's huge. He's like a freight train. And so, yeah. So if he has all the potential in the world. And then the same, I think starting out, I think Boogie Basham has a higher floor than Rousseau does, but I think Rousseau has a higher ceiling. So I think you could see Basham even maybe starting if he has a good training camp coming in. I mean, the Bills don't really start like linemen, they kind of rotate them all the time.
Yeah.
But I think you could see him getting heavy playing time and then kind of see what they did with Epinesa, with Rousseau kind of come up. And then with the linemen, it's curious because we drafted 2 6'8" tackles, so they're not versatile. They can only play on the left and right side. Yeah. But Tynesecki left, so we need a swing tackle. And so we automatically fill that void. I think it shows long-term because Darrell Williams had a really good year last year at right tackle, but consistency-wise, he's been kind of shaky. Mm-hmm. I mean, he played all over the line in Carolina, some really good, some really bad. And so I know we just signed him to a 3-year deal, but what happens if, say, he gets injured or he just kind of comes back down to earth in a sense? So then we have this huge 6'8" guy ready to come in. And so I think it can be beneficial in the short term and beneficial in the long term. So I think Tian Dawkins will be here for a long time.
You already know University.
Darrell Williams. I mean, we could draft I think it was Tommy Doyle in the 5th was the other tackle. And so, I mean, so say even you draft him to be the swing tackle and then you draft Spencer Brown to replace Darrell Williams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I think it'll be good. And then not to mention we drafted Wild Goose and Hamlin in the 6th round.
Wild Goose.
I haven't watched anything about him. I know he's really aggressive. but I know some people like don't want to see him play because he'll just commit so many like penalties.
Yeah.
But he's got a cool name, and so Hamlin is good.
Absolutely.
Hamlin is a solid football player, and I think he can contribute on special teams right away. And then we have Marquez Stevenson. I don't know if we got him in the 6th or the 5th.
Yeah, it was the 6th.
The 6th, and that's who they're hoping can do punts and kick returns and stuff. And so I'm not too excited. I mean, he's a 6th-round pick. Who knows? But Isaiah McKenzie in the 5th round, so maybe he'll be solid. And then I think we got Jack Anderson in the 7th, a guard, like a depth piece. I mean, if he pans out, great. If he doesn't, it's not a big deal. It's a 7th-round pick. But I think the draft class is going to be beneficial short term, as in depth, maybe some special teams play. But then I think long term it'll be great. I mean, because you don't have to worry about going out in free agency, signing a tackle when you just have one sitting there in your roster already. Or if we want to trade them, even like if you think you can get, I don't know, say Tommy Doyle becomes solid in preseason training camp, trade him for a 4th. I don't know.
That would be huge if you guys could.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, honestly, you were saying a lot of stuff about just like you were having before the draft talk. You were saying there's a lot of like older guys on this team, like Addison, like Hughes, like getting up there with Dion. Do you think those guys can kind of act as mentors towards these guys that just got drafted?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the reasons that they're still on the team. To be honest with you, is because one, I'm not a big Addison Hughes fan, as you probably tell, but their production is fine. Does it warrant their money they're making? I don't know. But I think just the locker room presence and the culture fit is huge. And I mean, because of this draft now, we have a lot of younger DEs. So, I could perfectly see that good in like a mentor role kind of aspect, kind of like how Kyle Williams was in his last year, just as a locker room presence.
Okay. I was kind of thinking the same thing too. Why would you still have guys like Jerry Hughes on there? But you put it really well there. Just mentorship, and it might not be worth the money, but in the long term, you could see it definitely. Now I just want to kind of go into some rapid fire questions. Just
all right, hit me.
A little lighter.
Yeah. Okay.
Will Josh Allen surpass Jim Kelly as the greatest Bills quarterback of all time?
Already has. No, I don't know. For me, he is, because I never watched Jim Kelly, but I think so. I think so. He has better stats than Jim Kelly, like, compared single season wise already.
Yeah.
But he hasn't taken us any Super Bowls yet, especially not 4 in a row. So I don't know. It'll be tough. I think maybe for my generation, Josh Allen could become the best quarterback, but I think for maybe the older generation, Jim Kelly will be the best. So I think it depends on if he wins a Super Bowl or not.
Are the Bills going to have any semblance of a running game?
I hope so. Matt Breida. I think so. Yeah, Matt Breida in the flesh, speedster.
Oh,
he was great in the Dolphins. I don't know. I hope so. We need one. I think you'll see. I think Singletary. I think he just had a sophomore slump. I think he'll come back. I think he's solid. I think Moss will be better. Like I said, we have Breida, who he's not the greatest, but he adds a different kind of element to the backfield. And yeah, I think we will have a rushing game. I really do, because I think the line is gonna. I don't know. I just hope they get it together, because it wasn't I don't think it was the running backs. I think it was the line. And so I hope that since they have this kind of off season to maybe just gel a little bit more, that they can just kind of get some better roles for the guys.
Huh. I haven't heard that. A lot of Bills fans I've talked to have said they're pessimistic, but I like what you're saying with Singletary.
Yeah, I like to think we can get a good running game going.
Espinosa, is he going to do anything this year?
Who knows? I mean, I was shocked when he fell into the second round, because he was being mocked to us when we still had our pick.
Yeah.
And so we got him, and I was super pumped. But yeah, his weight was weird all last year. They wanted him a certain weight, and then that was too much, too less. But I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't see why not. He had some flashes last year, not a lot, but he had some. But then again, it's there's a reason he fell from the first to the second. What it is, I don't know. I'm not a scout, but I'd like to think so. I mean, I don't see why not. He's got the size and the athleticism, so for sure, let's give him a shot. I think he can.
There's a lot of optimism going on here. I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm confident.
Yeah, and then the last one of these quick fire ones. Will you guys find a definitive cornerback, a second cornerback, to be on the other side of Trey White?
I'm a big Levi Wallace fan, honestly. I think, he undrafted guy from Alabama. He's lengthy, and people hate on him a lot.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that.
But there's a reason There's a reason that he's been the second corner for the past 3 years in a row now. It's not that they don't find anybody better. They always try to bring somebody in, and then he always beats the competition. And he's obviously not a Pro Bowler or an all-star caliber cornerback, but he's not awful. I mean, he does a quality job, I think. Can there be better? Yeah, but I think for now, that's what the Bills have in mind too. Unless Dane Jackson can really show something, and he had some good flashes last year, but right now I have my money on Levi Wallace. I'm a big Levi Wallace fan.
I mean, you were the first Bills fan I've ever heard say they're a big Levi Wallace fan.
I know. I like Levi Wallace.
So that I think that gives a lot of people a really good idea about who you are as a Bills fan. But let's go deep.
Yeah.
Let's go into the more specifics.
Okay.
Favorite Bills player of all time and why?
I was thinking about this. I figured it'd be asked, and I have a weird one, and it's Jordan Phillips. He was a defensive tackle. We signed him from Miami, and he left last year. He had 9.5 sacks in 2019, 2020 maybe, and a lot of them were not his own sacks. He kind of just cleaned them up. But he was just awesome. I think I'm in my hotel. I'm in a hotel room right now, so I didn't bring it with me. But I think I might be the only owner of a Jordan Phillips Color Rush jersey. And I mean, he was just awesome to see because he was the biggest guy. He was the biggest guy in the field. And he would just, I remember there'd be some plays where he would just slam into the guy, and then he'd do his crazy celebrations or something after. He and Shaq Lawson brought such a swagger that year to the defense that I thought was kind of so fun. And obviously, I didn't want to pay Jordan Phillips $10 million a year, from a logistical standpoint. Yeah. But just I enjoyed watching Jordan Phillips play football every day because you could always tell where he was in the field, and he was just having a good time playing football.
Do you have a favorite memory of anything Bills related? Could be in rough New Era Field, or what is it called now?
I don't know. It's New Era. It's still New Era to me, but
yeah,
it's I think it starts with an H maybe. I should know that, but I don't. Favorite memory. The first thing that comes to my mind is the Josh Allen hurdle over Anthony Barr.
Oh yes.
I don't know if that was week 3 or week 4 against the Vikings. Because we were projected to get pummeled by the Vikings, and we came in and absolutely smoked them. That was a good, just that hurdle, and then just the smackdown. This isn't a favorite memory, but something that always sticks out to me was the Shaq Lawson Leonard Fournette fist fight that happened. I don't know why. I thought that was awesome. The whole both of the benches cleared, and they were just brawl. I don't know why. Josh Allen torching Ramsey in the Jags game was fun. After Ramsey called him trash.
Last question we got on here.
All right.
In one word, it can be hyphenated. I don't care. But in one word, describe the Bills fan base based on what you've experienced.
I want to say positive, and I don't want to bash Bills. On the Bills fans themselves, I think I have 2. I think loyal is a good word because people have stuck with this team for so long after so many years of mediocrity. And then another word I think is negative. I think that, I understand why. But I remember, and I'm not big, I'm not on Twitter or anything, so I have no idea what that scene is like. But even on Instagram, I will remember the second year of Josh Allen, and I think it was after that playoff game. And I had 3 people on my Instagram stories be like, man, we need to trade Josh Allen immediately. He sucks. He's trash. And I see a lot of people as soon as something kind of goes wrong, they just kind of really start, I don't know about criticizing the word, but just kind of not trusting the process almost. Just let it happen. It's okay. We're gonna be fine. But I think loyal is a good word, and I think as a people, as on a human level, everyone's been awesome. For just great people overall. On a football level, I think sometimes we be a little too pessimistic, but that's just me.
I mean, I've from what I've talked to with Bills fans, I kind of get that. From the outside looking in, a lot of people just see just constant loyalty, but when you're on the inside, I do hear a lot of that negativity sometimes and that criticism. So it's good to get that out there, man.
It's like, I mean, you can just look at like comment sections and like Buffalo Facts or anybody, like anytime someone like screws up, it's just like trade him, release him, he sucks, he's awful. And then he makes like a great, like Levi Wallace, for example, he'll get burned like once every 2 games and people will be like, oh my gosh, he sucks. And then he'll be fine the next 3 and nobody says anything. But that's just my take.
Yeah, dude. And I think that's a really interesting and really good point to hop off this. Seth, thank you so much, man, for joining this conversation.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. If you want to talk to either me or Seth, we're going to have some socials down below. You'll see them below our boxes over there. If you want to get involved in the conversation, text us or text me if you want to have a conversation about your own team. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.